Well, hope everybody had a good weekend. We had a mix of weather across the British Isles, but when looking back at May 2018, it was, of course, the UK's warmest on record, and that extends all the way up through the Scandinavian countries as well. Cooler than normal, in fact, across Spain and Portugal, as well as southern parts of France. Get up into the north of France, and it was a lot warmer, and therefore May 2018 was in fact the fourth warmest on record for France. If it hadn't been for the unseasonably cool air to start the month of May, we could have been looking at the warmest May on record in France as well. But certainly it has been a fairly dry pattern, give or take, of course, thunderstorms across the southern portion of the UK, which has bumped precipitation above normal for the month of May. But get yourself further north, and it has been a fairly dry month. We have, of course, seen showers and thunderstorms more widely across the northern half of the British Isles as we left May, began the month of June. But things look as if they're going to somewhat quieten down once again, and I think the overall dry theme will continue. But first and foremost, let's have a quick look at the GFS precipitation and surface chart through the course of this upcoming work week. And we've got a few showers and even storms popping up this afternoon, and more so tomorrow afternoon. The reason why is we are going to have a much more east to west split in weather. The reason why is we've got low pressure to the south, high pressure to the north. You know the script by now, but the one big difference is our air is coming in from the northeast. So therefore, that air travelling across 10 to 12 Celsius waters, if that, is going to, of course, bring a fairly gloomy picture across, particularly the eastern and southern portion of the UK. And that cloud and low cloud will be capping off the temperatures quite significantly. Temperatures yesterday, upper 20s, today probably lucky if you hit 21 or 22 degrees at the very best. But we are going to continue through at least the first half of this work week with a east to west split. Best of the sunshine, western areas, and as we kind of go through this week, the best of the sunshine will revert back to what we've really seen in the last month or so, which has of course been cooler, cloudier conditions across the south, drier, brighter, and therefore warmer across the north, across Scotland, and simply because that high is just so reluctant to budge across the northeast Atlantic at the moment. And of course that area of low pressure is just continuing to spin away, keeping things cooler and more unsettled across France and across Spain and Portugal as well. And generally speaking, I couldn't be happier with the way my ideas have panned out. So far everything is playing out the way I thought it would, that would have the best conditions across the north, most unsettled conditions across the south, and that looks as if it's going to continue to be the case. There is, however, a slight fly in the ointment. Towards the end of this work week, the GFS is indicating lower heights up across the northeast Atlantic. High pressure starts to rebuild across the south, and therefore will begin to turn the upper air pattern around somewhat. But you can see here, of course, with the best of the sunshine in the west over the next few days, showers and storms will pop up across the sunniest areas where we're going to see the warmest conditions. Of course, you can blow up a few thunderstorms in response to that. Low pressure always continuing to feed and develop these showers and storms quite widely across Iberia and France. That area of low pressure reluctant to budge, so therefore with keeping things very settled across the northern half of the British Isles as we skip through the sequence here. And then as we push through the weekend and into next week, there is well, this is actually quite interesting. What's actually quite interesting is, sorry, I actually thought it was the end of this work week. I'm mistaken. It's actually the end of the following weekend. So I beg your pardon. So basically what the GFS is indicating is we've got very little in the way of precipitation through the next 10 days once again across the northern half of the British Isles, and by the time we skip out to the 14th, Thursday the 14th of June, that is when the model is indicating that we have this flip in the pattern. Lower pressure across Iceland, higher pressure further south towards the Azores, and therefore we have cooler, wetter and more typical weather coming into the northwestern half of the UK. Whether that is the case or not remains to be seen. It's still 10 days away. but up until then it looks as if we are going to maintain this dry, settled, sunny theme. So who needs to go on holiday at this time of the year across Scotland when you've got that kind of weather, right? Let's have a quick look at the CFS V2, and there are a couple of interesting things to point out here as well. Upcoming work week, very little in the way of change, can't argue with that. Core high pressure to the north, low pressure over Iberia. You can see here into the second week, notice here how we still have that area of low pressure, pushed slightly further towards the Balearics and the western side of the Mediterranean as opposed to over the heart of Spain. The reason why is we've got high pressure trying to build a wee bit more over the Atlantic to the west of the UK, so it's essentially shoving the core of that trough further east somewhat. Notice here the core of high pressure that the model indicates still has an influence, a firm influence on the British Isles here overall. Then as we skip through to the end of June, so this is the second half of June, the 17th through the 24th of June, high pressure remains in control, but we're starting to build heights a little bit further south as well, over France and over Iberia as well. And then as we go into the month of July, it's indicating that high pressure is going to rule. And really, folks, this is going to be, if this plays out the way the model is indicating, so this is away out to the 15th of July, we are going to have a great summer this year, and the overall emphasis will be on warm, dry and sunny weather overall. So like I said, I'm very, very contented with the way the weather is playing out so far, and I don't really see anything that indicates that this theme will not continue through at least the first half of the summer. I'm still a little bit reluctant to say it's going to continue right through till the end of August. That's a long way off, but very interesting times ahead, that's for sure. Hope you have a great day, and I'll be back in the next few days with more. Bye for now.